souls adrift in a mysterious and limitless cosmos.
H.P. Lovecraft was a writer of horror fiction in the early 1900s, and whilst today his work is revered and admired, at the time he was largely dismissed as a trashy author and died in poverty. His dark and disturbing tales of mythical creatures and haunting locations are used time and again in modern media, with films, TV shows, board games and of course video games drawing from all corners of the Lovecraft mythos. The latest game to dip its scaly toes into this lore is Lovecraft's Untold Stories, which claims to have the largest amount of Lovecraft fan service in any video game, with over 50 different sorts of monsters to take down and a variety of locations taken from the books and used in the game. All of this Lovecraftian loveliness is wrapped up in a pixel art roguelike with RPG elements and 5 different characters, each with individual stories to play through. It's an ambitious 30-hour game, but is it any good? Let's dive into the murky world of Cthulhu and the rest of the old ones as I review Lovecraft's Untold Stories on the Nintendo Switch. Now I'm going to be honest right off the bat here. 1, this is a very good game, and 2, I'm terrible at it. But let's focus more on point 1. So this game, as I mentioned, is a roguelike and very much like a dungeon crawler, I guess, as you move from room to room, clearing out monsters and finding clues that will eventually lead you to facing off against one of the old ones that haunt that location. When the game starts, you only have access to one character, a detective called John Murphy. As you work through each level in the game, you'll also be trying to find the next character in the game to unlock. There are 4 other characters beyond Murphy, with a scientist, a professor, a witch and a ghoul to find. Each character has their own playstyles, skills, weapons and locations to work in. You can see the amount of fan service the game offers in these character choices, with lots of care put into the design of each one and a decent amount of backstory and motivation given to each. Each location in the game is always the same in terms of looks and style, but the layout of each individual area's rooms are randomly generated each time you play. Each room will usually have at least one object in that can be opened or unlocked, revealing a bounty of loot from bars of chocolate that help reduce your climbing insanity levels to landmines and mysterious artifacts. Collecting all of these items is key, as health, sanity and ammo are at a premium, and you constantly need to ensure you are topped up, as behind each door of the hospital, sanitarium or graveyard you open could be any number of horrible monsters or traps. Now this is where the game starts to fall apart a little bit for me personally. Aiming your weapons and throwing grenades never really feels 100% accurate, and when combined with the objects in the room that you can get snagged on when moving around, it makes combat a little bit clunky. Given that it only takes a few hits to kill you, it can prove really frustrating working through a location for 20 minutes just to have your game ended in a few seconds because you got stuck behind a bloody table. The traps in particular are a real issue, as it's very difficult to make them out amongst the busy, albeit nice looking rooms. Walking into a new room can immediately see spike traps activate under you, taking precious health. My personal annoyance was a stone column that fell unseen from the ceiling, with virtually zero chance of knowing it was there. It just felt unfair a lot of the time. With that said, the exploration in the game is a lot of fun, with each room containing generally something of interest, whether it's an aforementioned monster, some decent loot or, more importantly, clues and key items. Now clues are the lifeblood of this game. Finding them give you knowledge which between runs can be banked to unlock more information on one of the 5 old ones who are the big bosses in the game. Unlocking more knowledge of an old one will make the encounter against them a little bit easier to handle, as they will inflict less stress onto your well-being, take more damage and things like that. I really like this system a lot. It's a mechanic that feeds directly into the narrative and something that makes perfect sense, so that drive to keep finding more information in a level is great motivation. Graphically and sonically, I think the developers, Blini Games, have done a great job. The locations generally are well made and give great atmosphere to the game, and the characters, particularly the large number of monsters, all feel very unique, almost exactly as you'd picture them from the stories. My only gripe generally is the UI, which could have been thought out a little bit more. Your health and energy are on separate sides of the screen, and the representation of your sanity increasing, whilst cool in terms of look, doesn't help you understand how long you have before the madness eventually claims you. Also, some of the buffs and debuff icons make little sense, and it's hard to know if you're being helped or hindered at certain times. But overall, I really like Lovecraft's Untold stories a lot. It has a huge amount of positives going for it, and fans of roguelikes, Lovecraft lore, or creepy adventure games generally will get a lot out of it. If you're looking for something a little bit more combat focused, then you might struggle here as I did. It's a game that rewards patience and exploration rather than going in gung-ho, and if you have the time to dedicate to those 30 or so hours of gameplay, then you'll absolutely get your money's worth. For my taste personally, I really wanted to like it, but I found the game a bit too frustrating overall, although with that said, I would put that down to my own personal failings more than anything too drastically wrong with the game. I'm still going to absolutely recommend this game, and considering its more than reasonable price tag of $15 and £13, I'm going to give it a really solid 7.5 out of 10. Thank you everybody for watching the review, I hope you enjoyed that. If you're new here, please do consider subscribing. I've dropped regular Switch reviews every week, and if you are one of my loyal subscribers, then give me a thumbs up below and drop me a comment what you think about this game. Okay, with that, I will bid you farewell. Stay switched on, and I will see you on the next video. Bye!